Y'all know there's a fat elephant at the top of the Premier League table. We are not blind, but still wonder how he's able. If they can hold to their balls and stick to their guns at the end of the day, landing could be red, the Gunners. Hey yo, welcome to the channel for my Premier League predictions. Game week 16, game week 15 was a surprising midweek, and going to this game week 16, I'm looking out for spot on predictions. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, put on the notification bell. Anytime I release a video, you may be one of the first people to be notified. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into the game week 16 predictions. Starting with the game week 16 predictions, the first game is between Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Liverpool at the midweek in game week 15, they won by 2-0 against Sheffield United. And going to that game, I predicted Liverpool to win, but I mean that game was a tough game for Liverpool. And going to this game week 16 too, I'm predicting a win for Liverpool. I'm predicting Liverpool to Crystal Palace 1. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Brighton versus Burnley. Brighton in the midweek game week 15, they won against Brentford by 2-1. And going to this game in game week 16 against Burnley, I think this is a walkover match for Brighton. I'm predicting Brighton to win by 3-1. Brighton 3, Burnley 1. Moving on to the next game is between Manchester United versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth in midweek, they got victory over Crystal Palace, and Manchester United also got a 2-1 victory over Chelsea. Going into this game in game week 16, I think it will be a tough game for both clubs, but I'm predicting a win for Manchester United. I'm predicting United to win by 2-1. Man United 2, Bournemouth 1. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Sheffield United versus Brentford. In game week 15, Sheffield United lost to Liverpool by 2-0, and Brentford also lost to Brighton by 2-1. Going to this game in game week 16, I'm predicting a win for Brentford. I'm predicting 2-1. Brentford 2, Sheffield United 1. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. In game week 15, Wolves got a 1-0 victory over Burnley, and Nottingham Forest also lost 5-0 against Fulham. Going to this game in game week 16 will be a tough game for Nottingham Forest. Despite they are going away, I think this will be a very difficult game after coming down from 5-0 and meeting Wolves at this point. I'm predicting a win for Wolves. Wolves 2, Nottingham Forest 0. And moving on to the next game is the game of the week in game week 16, which is a match between Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Arsenal in game week 15, they got 4-3 victory over Luton Town, and Aston Villa also got a 1-0 victory over Manchester City. It was a very tough and impressive performance from Aston Villa. So going into this game against Arsenal, I'm not expecting Aston Villa to calm down. I'm expecting them to at least get a point from this game. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Everton versus Chelsea. In game week 15, Everton was able to beat Newcastle by 3-0, which was an impressive and improvement upon their results, despite they were deducted 10 points and they are now out of the relegation zone. So going to this game against Chelsea, who also lost to Man United in the midweek, they lost 2-1 against Man United. And going to this game, I'm predicting a draw, despite Everton stand a chance of winning this game. Chelsea of late has been abysmal. They are not performing. So going to this game, I'm predicting a 1-1 draw. But I'll not be shocked if Everton carries the day and win this game by 2-1. Yes, and moving on to the next game is between Fulham versus West Ham United. This is a London derby. And going to this game, Fulham in game week 15 were able to beat Nottingham Forest by 5-0, and West Ham United was able to beat Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. Going to this game in game week 16, it will be an interesting game, and I'm predicting a win for West Ham United, despite Fulham was impressive in the midweek. Going to this game, I'm predicting West Ham to get a win over Fulham. I'm predicting West Ham to Fulham 1. Yes, and moving on to the next game is between Luton Town versus Manchester City. In game week 15, Luton Town lost 3-4 against Arsenal, and Man City also lost to Aston Villa by 1-0. Going to this game in game week 16, I'm predicting a win for Manchester City, despite their game versus Aston Villa was an interesting game, very difficult fixture. But going to this game, I think this game will give them a little bit relief, despite it's not their home grounds and they will struggle a lot too. I'm predicting a 2-0 win for Man City. City to Luton Town 0. Okay, so moving on to the last game in game week 16 is between Tottenham Hotspur versus Newcastle United. Going to this game, Tottenham Hotspur are coming from a 2-1 loss against West Ham United, and Newcastle is also coming from a 3-0 loss against Everton. Going to this game, I'm predicting Tottenham to get a win over Newcastle. I'm predicting Tottenham to Newcastle United 1. So these are my predictions for Premier League game week 16. If you're new and subscribe to the channel, show me love, like this video. My like target for this video is 100 likes. Subscribe, put on the notification bell. Anytime I release a video, you may be one of the first people to be notified. Comment your predictions and your thoughts at the comment section. Till we meet in another video. Bye bye for now.